Wait a minute. She, she.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Listography. Jason, Joe, and Krams are here. Songs of the year, 1971. I think it's safe. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that at this point you're seeing a significant kind of downturn in the Hot 100. I think it's definitely not as strong as it has been in the last few years. But on the wildcard side of things, I think it's getting just ridiculous to the point. I think that side of the list making is expanding faster than the Hot 100 is shrinking. So it's getting really tough. And I think Cram and I both said this was our favorite year back when we did albums of the year. And yeah, man, songs is just as tough. I think I'm sticking with this as the best year ever. How do you guys feel?
I feel the same. And you're right. I mean, regardless of the strength of the Hot 100, you're getting more classic rock songs into the top 100. But like the pop music compared to even like the 50th best rock album this year doesn't hold a candle. Donny Osmond, come on, get real.
It's a great year for the wild cards. It's a great year for albums and album cuts and deep cuts and all that. And it was very hard to, like, my lists are now so lopsided. Like, even though the Billboard stuff, great songs, but like compared to the songs I'm leaving off, there's a lot that could be, in a top 10, say, of my actual favorite songs. 6 through 10 are now gone, like, because the Billboard charts just aren't doing their part to keep up. So tough year, tons of great albums, tons of great songs. One of the best years ever. I'm not willing to say it's the best year ever, but certainly up there.
I don't know. I've got good overlap in my Billboard of things that I still think are great. Like, I didn't really have to compensate quality to find them, but it's just the sheer army of songs that we aren't going to talk about is preposterous.
Joe, you want to start?
Yes, I will start with the old Billboards top 5. Better get just used to Elton John for these next couple years for a while now. I got Leave On coming in at number 5, just one of his classic pop songs. Great piano and strings and just very Elton Johnny. Yeah, it's a compliment to say something's Elton Johnny. So he's making it this year. Number 4, I got my favorite track off What's Going On. Not What's Going On. My favorite track is Inner City Blues. Just a really kind of haunting, a little less, I don't know. I mean, I like What's Going On a lot. I think it's fantastic. But this song is definitely the best one on it. And I think some of it gets a little overrated, but I think this song is quite underrated because you never hear about it and they never play it on the radio. But it's just great, really moving, and just the tragedy of the ghetto and everything else. So what Marvin Gaye does best when he's not singing about sex, I guess. Number 3, just one of the great opening riffs ever by Ronnie Wood. I got Stay With Me by the Faces. It's just so good. That first, 16 bars, about as good as rock and roll gets right there. And Rod Stewart, he had a great year. That and his solo album, which I'm not going to put Maggie May on my list, but it's a great song as well. Almost made the list. Number 2, my favorite track off Aqualung. It charted like real low. I think it was the first single, but it's not the one most people think. It's Hymn 43. Such a good fire to it. Ian Anderson sounds like he's delivering it like straight from the pulpit, which I think is great, and has an awesome guitar solo as well. Very underrated track from Aqualung. But number 1 off the Billboards, though, I'm going to go back to the Carpenters for Superstar. Maybe my, top 5 or 6 cover of all time. They take it from sort of like this kiss off to like groupies and turn it into like this just devastating song of longing and unrequited love. The arrangement's perfect. She sings it so well. Just a awesome, awesome song from the Carpenters. My number one Billboard track, 1971.
Got your back on the Carpenters' love, but they're not going to make my list. Very nice shout out to him 43. I couldn't get it on there because I kind of think of it as like part 2 of My God almost, like that. But whatever. I guess I'm going to go now. Jace, are you cool with that? I also have Levon. Seems like Joe and I, always far apart on albums, but all-time songs we're there. I'm going to go with Rolling Stones, who I think have now become my number one favorite. Like, I think I've listed Stone songs more than anything so far. Going with Wild Horses. Never get enough credit for their lyrics, and this is just a beautiful piece of songwriting. And I just love simple lines and simple sentiments in songs like Wild Horses couldn't drag me away. It's just a great sentence. It says it all. I love it. I'm also going to go with Love the One You're With by Stephen Stills. Incredibly underrated song. The production on it and the performance is fantastic. You got to pay attention to the bass on this track. It's just fantastic. The work that it does, playing these really deep high notes in the chorus, is great. And you get all of that cool percussion work with no cymbals or anything. It's great. My next Billboard pick will be Behind Blue Eyes, Don't Worry Joe. It's the version by The Who, not Limp Bizkit. Yeah, I love this song. I love the sentiment of like vulnerability juxtaposed with when it gets real heavy in the chorus and sort of that anger, but still soft anger. Like the way Roger Daltrey's like angry, ferocious, fired up, but he says, if I shiver, please give me a blanket. What a cool, just like, bleeding heart sort of emotion. It's early emo, maybe you could say. Now, let's not say that. We'll get into bad territory, but it is a terrific song. Just Townsend is such a good songwriter, and that's a great example of it. My number one is going to be You Are Everything by the Stylistics. Gonna go non-rock and roll here. It's just got a really romantic, like, haziness to it. It sounds like really tragic and beautiful, and I love it. It gives me doughy, sparkly eyes. Those are my 5. Jason, you're up.
All right, for my Hot 100, first pick's going to be Nice to Me by Todd Rundgren. Not close to my favorite song on the Ballad of Todd Rundgren, maybe my 5th or 6th favorite song on the record, something like that. But the competition on the wildcard side is so fierce, and this just happens to be the song that charted from the record, so this will have to be the representative from my album of the year for 71. Great melody, really great understated playing in the rhythm section. Just a nice melody, good piano ballad. Really like the song a lot. Next pick is going to be Me and My Arrow by Harry Nilsson from his animated children's cartoon, The Point. Arrow, of course, is the dog in the cartoon. So it's a song about a boy and his dog. It's got this very straight, like constant, almost like time-keeping piano part. And the real interesting thing about this song is the way he works around it with the melody and different syncopations while keeping the steady beat on the piano with all the like doodly doot kind of scat singing almost vocal things that he does. I've also got another Harry Nilsson song. I've got Without You, which is actually a cover, Badfinger song from 1970. I think it's a really good, well-written song, but Harry takes it to a whole other level with his vocal performance. He puts so much feeling into it and makes it so much more melodic. If you listen to the Badfinger version, they really cut a lot of the syllables short. Like I Can't Live is really almost staccato. And he holds those notes and puts all the feeling onto those notes. It's awesome. And it's amazing that he's able to do it and not make it melodramatic or overly sentimental. It's just perfect, the right amount that he does, because future versions like by Mariah Carey and stuff get a little sappy. But he won the Grammy for the best male vocal for this track, which I think he totally deserved. This entered the charts at the very, very end of the year. It actually peaked. It was number 1 in 72 for 4 weeks in a row. But just one of the last couple weeks of the year, it made it onto the charts. I've also got Another Day by Paul McCartney. This was his first single after the Beatles, standalone single, non-album track. It was recorded during the Ram sessions. Great production on it. I love the bass playing, really cool percussion on it as well, and some really great lead guitar work from David Spinoza. He does a lot of like little volume swells and stuff that are really cool, and some like interesting melodic lines on there as well. And then I also got another McCartney song, Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey. Song went to number 1. It was McCartney's first gold record after the Beatles. Another one of these situations where he kind of like stitches together song fragments. He won a Grammy for this track for arranging. It is a divisive song. I think this kind of splits people. If you're a McCartney person like I am, you probably love it. If your favorite Beatles, John Lennon, you probably don't like it because it's a bit of a silly song. But I love it. I think it's so awesome, really unique and cool. But yeah, those are my Hot 100 picks.
All right, Joe, give us your wild cards.
Okay, 4 wild cards coming at you. Number 5, I think we're all familiar with this artist now, thanks to the Byrds. He was only in the Byrds for a little bit, but I got Gene Clark with For a Spanish Guitar from White Light. Just a really nice, beautiful acoustic number, incredibly detailed guitar work. I love it. It's a waltz. It's in 3/4 times. Kind of sounds like the Eagles would just completely steal this for one of these nights. The whole kind of like feeling, even the guitar part a little bit. So I got to look into that a little bit. But this is a great song. 3 verses worth of great lyrics. He's channeling Bob Dylan, but in a way that even I can love. Number 4, we got a little David Bowie action. Probably my favorite period of Bowie, the like super pop star David Bowie. And there's 3 songs that I love from this year, and I couldn't pick, but I'm going with Life on Mars because I think it was the first one that I really fell in love with. And just so much emotion in Bowie's voice. Love the piano parts, the big swell into the chorus, just awesome. Number 3, this really sucked like picking one song from these artists. Joni Mitchell, Blue, there's 3 or 4 songs I could have put on here. I'm going with Blue because I think it was my favorite Joni Mitchell song. I don't want to cheat and pick another one, but it's just one of the most emotionally devastating songs ever written. It just like oozes and, sadness, and the little piano intro part is just so perfect, the way her voice kind of blends into it and comes out of it. I love the lyrics, just great. Could have picked California or All I Want, or if they're also good. Number 2, my second favorite Beach Boys song from the very underrated Surf's Up. I got title track Surf's Up. I mean, it's a top 5 or 10 song for me ever. Kind of, it's a little bit like God Only Knows, just the form and the feel of it. It's a little longer, a little more drawn out, but the cascade of voices at the end, the great counterpoint, that piano riff that runs down the scale. It just sounds so cool. I love it. And it could have been a winner, but it's 71, so I got to pick something real special. So I'll save that for the winner circle in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
Yeah, I feel bad because I like arbitrarily tried to get Bowie on my list, but I just couldn't do it. Like I would have been faking the list just to get him on, because I feel like, I don't know, it's weird. I prefer his early 70s albums for sure, but I think a lot of my favorite tracks are the later, some like individual songs from the later 70s. I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird dynamic, but he's awesome. We don't talk about him as much on the channel as we probably should, but promise everyone out there, we love Bowie. When we do the list, it'll be a big love fest, but no Bowie for me. Here's what I got. Finally getting multiple Who songs on here from Who's Next. I've got The Song Is Over. I think it's awesome. I love the way Pete sounds in the beginning. I love the piano part. I love the guitar that comes in. I love the burst into the chorus. I think it's fantastic. I'm also going to go with Rock and Roll Stew, my favorite song by Traffic, High Heel Boys. It's awesome. It's got that amazing, just steady rhythm, like Cuban kind of flair, like the Latin jazz kind of fusion to it. And I just love the simplicity of the gone, gone, gone. He sounds so good there. It's a fantastic song. Runaway, my favorite Traffic song. I'm going to make so many people happy with this next one, especially considering what's on deck. But I got Heart of the Sunrise by Yes, the closer on Fragile. It is just a composition masterpiece, and good lord, Chris Squire just firing away like a machine gun on bass there. I love it. I love all of the little components. The notes Anderson's hitting are just ridiculous, just in outer space. It's awesome. What a great song. Then it's down to two songs for me that are both probably in my top 15, 20 songs of all time. But the one that didn't win is from my album of the year. It's going to be Cat Stevens with How Can I Tell You? I love it. It's got amazingly delicate sounding guitar. It's almost like mystical the way that it sounds, and just a really just his songs are just so touching. The way he's talking about never being able to find the words, and when they finally do come to him, she's not around, not there to but he'll imagine her being there. And it's just such a great song about fleeting sentiment. Like you have all of this stuff built up inside of you, and just like in the breath of a wind, it can be gone. Really underrated production. It sounds gorgeous. It sounds like it's like just kind of cosmic in like a nighttime sky kind of way. And there's these really lovely reeds that come in just very gently. And he's got such a like a hold your hand kind of affection to the way he sings. Like it's such like a almost like a parental sort of way. Like he's always comforting you with the softness of his vocals. Just fantastic. I could have went with so many different songs on this album. Ruby Love and Bitter Blue are up there for me. The Wind is probably the best song under 2 minutes ever. It's a great album, but couldn't get it as my winner. I don't think I've had a number one song from my favorite album since Pet Sounds, and that will continue.
All right, my wild cards. I'm not going to do a lot of honorable mentions like I did last time, but I do want to give a shout out to John Prine. His debut album came out, and there's like 5 songs from it that were competing for my list, and none of them made the final cut. But heck of a songwriter, really good record. The ones that do make it, though, my favorite John Lennon solo track, Oh Yoko. I think it captures his love and adoration for Yoko so beautifully. Nicky Hopkins' piano playing on it is so great. It's really uplifting and buoyant. And I don't know, listening to this song kind of makes you feel what it feels like when you're falling in love. And I think it's just spectacular. I've also got Hazy Jane 2 from Nick Drake from Brighter Later. Love this song. It's kind of different in his catalog. There's a lot more going on. It's not as sparse as his usual tracks. Kind of got this fast, upbeat drumming to it. You got all these lead guitar parts coming in from Richard Thompson. And there's a really great horn arrangement on it as well. And I think it's just so rich with like different textures and colors. And it's really a standout for me. Then I've got a song called Something on Your Mind from Karen Dalton. It's kind of like an underground cult figure. She was part of the Greenwich Village folk scene in the early 60s. Never really made it big, but I think recently people are starting to discover her more and more. There's a documentary coming out about her soon, which they just released the trailer for a few days ago. But this song is so cool. Her voice is so unique and different. Then I've got Caroline Goodbye by Colin Blunstone, which I think is a fantastic song. It was written by Blunstone, but it's also got Rod Argent on it. And Jim Rodford, who was in Argent, is on it as well. Russ Ballard, who's a famous songwriter, plays guitar on it. And Colin Blunstone's voice is just so amazing, so pure. One of the great things I love about the Zombies and the great thing about Odyssey and Oracle. But I think the improved recording technology as you get into the 70s, plus the fact that the arrangements here are a little more spacious and really kind of let you focus on just how good his voice is, really makes it like stand out in a way that it doesn't in the Zombies. As good as the Zombies are and as good as Odyssey and Oracle are, I think there's so much happening sometimes in their songs that you don't really get a chance to focus on just the pure greatness of his voice. This song's fantastic. And yeah, I got one more and that'll be my winner. So time for the worst of the year.
Well, Jason, is that really your top songs from 71? Because I don't believe a damn word of it. All the songs, those are the ones that you picked. It's mind-blowing. For my worst song, there's really a choice here. And either way, it's like a knife in the heart of Jason. And I'm going to love every minute. I'm going to savor it. I'm savoring this whole experience. I can't decide if John Lennon or Paul McCartney will win Worst Song of the Year. I think I'm going to go, even though I'm a Paul McCartney guy, self-proclaimed, love him to death, love his bass playing, love his songwriting. And as much as I think Imagine is just Drek, I'm going to go with Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey as the worst song of the year. It's annoying, it's pretentious and boring, and just kind of what Paul McCartney fell into. I know everyone's like excited to do his solo discography, but even as a Paul McCartney fan, I have my doubts about how much I'm going to enjoy that. And I think it's like there's so many changes. It never flows. It never comes together. It's like the opposite of the Abbey Road suite, where it all just like fits like a glove, magical togetherness. This is just like a bunch of fragments that just he threw together and somehow went to number one, I guess. I think it sucks. I hate it. Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey is my least favorite song of 1971.
Go ahead. You can rebuttal before I go. Go ahead. Get your fight in there. Come on.
I got nothing to say to it. He's making a fool of himself.
Well, then that makes two of us because no, I'm not going to go there. It's not. It sucks though. My least favorite song, kind of already gave it away, but it's Go Away Little Girl by Donny Osmond. What a stupid song when rock and roll is in full force and sexuality just bursting like fireworks on the 4th of July. And Donny Osmond is just like, ew, go away. I'm just a puny little tool. I don't know. It's really not that bad, but it went number one, didn't deserve to. It's really lame. I think his voice just sounds terrible. I don't know why. Like, who is the target audience really for this? Like 8-year-old girls? 4-year-old girls? He sounds so young and silly, and I just didn't like it. That's all. I did not like it.
That is the correct answer. That is the worst song of the year by far. 13-year-old Donny Osmond hitting those high notes that are so high, it's so shrieky and awful to listen to. Like, how are you going to tell a little girl to go away when you sound like a little girl yourself? It's so ridiculous.
Right? I mean, Michael Jackson could have just like brought that guy to a university class, and this is how you sang as a young kid. And Donnie just sounded terrible. I mean, it's not even like you can make like he's a kid, like give him a break. It's like, no, some adult should have been like, you're not ready to be recorded, but they didn't.
All right. Winners.
Winner is When the Levee Breaks, Led Zeppelin. It's 1971. I had to get Zeppelin on here somewhere. Lots of worthy candidates from Zeppelin 4, my favorite album of 1971, my second favorite Led Zeppelin album. Like, yeah, I'm definitely a little bit tired of, Stairway and Rock and Roll and Black Dog. A little bit, not a lot, because they're all basically perfect songs. Everything about this album, basically perfect, but for my money, it all comes together on When the Levee Breaks. That incredible drum sound with the Echoplex that every rap album on earth has sampled, the incredible harmonica, the slide guitar, it all like comes together in this storm of instruments. And Robert Plant just sounds, amazing, wailing through it all like a banshee in a hurricane. It's kind of like Gimme Shelter, like it's the sound of the apocalypse. It's just when the world ends, when God comes with the wrath and the killing and everything else, this song is going to be blaring from the heavens. If you believe in that kind of thing, whatever. It's my favorite Zeppelin song. It's just the sound, the fury, all of it perfectly in harmony. And yeah, it's just perfect. Perfect song from my boys in Zeppelin.
Very nice. Black Dog's my favorite on that album. It was considered, but again, we can't go into detail about all the songs we wanted to pick. Great choice. Can't go wrong with that. I'm going different route here, going with an incredibly emotional love song, one that you did not mention on Blue. I'm going with The River by Joni Mitchell. Really devastatingly put together song. Piano part is gorgeous. Her falsetto, it is, and it's technically a falsetto, but the high notes she's hitting is really awesome. And this has to be one of my favorite lyrical songs of all time. It's pretty and flowery without like losing the point. You never misunderstand anything she's talking about. It's really direct. The metaphor of skating away on a river around Christmas time, because it's you don't get a lot of songs about like shame and guilt, and this is what like it's kind of about. Like she blew the love of her, like she didn't blow, I'm sure she blew the love of her life. Wait a minute. She she blew her chance with the love of her life. She made her baby cry. He tried to help her. She just ruined it. She blew it. She didn't, she took it for granted, whatever it is. And you don't get a lot of songs like that. And the way she puts together is just such resentment, just such heartache. It's so honest because it's just, it's all on her. I think it's fantastic. You don't get a lot of songs like this, and there's something with the way the piano and the melody goes and her mentioning of Christmas that really makes it seem like a sort of Christmas tragedy almost, and you can just picture like wintry setting and all of that. It's just a beautiful piece of writing. She sounds great, piano's great. Gets me the clamp just to think about it. It's great. There you go. The River, Joni Mitchell.
All right, my winner for 1971. And my days of competing in the voting competition are pretty much over, because I don't know how many more like classic tracks I'll be picking. Certainly nothing that'll compete with When the Levee Breaks. My winner in 71 is a track called Better Days by Graham Nash from his album Songs for Beginners, which I discovered like 2015, early 2015. And when I first heard this record, I could not believe, like, how is everybody not in love with this record? How is this not like an all-time classic? It's an incredible sounding record. This song, the snare drum on it with the crack, it just is like, it cuts right through everything. The bass is really full. Graham's voice is piercing. The song itself is about Rita Coolidge, who is dating Stephen Stills and left Stephen Stills for Graham Nash. And this song is like Graham saying, don't worry about it. I don't know. It's a weird kind of thing to write a song about to Stephen Stills when his girl just left him for you. Rita Coolidge sings backing vocals on it. Neil Young plays piano on it. Just a really great song, great vocals. There's I thought it was sax, a great sax solo at the end, but looking at the credits, it looks like the only thing credited is bass clarinet. So I guess it's a bass clarinet solo at the end of the track on the outro, which is awesome. I just love it. I think it's a great song. I think more people should listen to Songs for Beginners.
Real alpha move, writing a song to the dude you just stole his woman, and then having the woman on the track with you. That's well, I'm glad the Beatles are over, because you won again last week by a smidge of just 7 votes. Let It Be took the top spot over Layla. Child in Time, good showing as well. But of course, the Beatles, they win everything. So that's 7.5 wins for Jason, 5 for myself. Rams are still stuck at 3.5. I don't know if the River is gonna deliver that next one. Fortunately, I think going forward, there's going to be more competition than Jason thinks, because I don't think there's always going to be big hits from me. Like there's a lot of deeper cuts that aren't going to be obvious choices. So I think it'll get a little more interesting from here on out.
Well, on that note, and I think I said this in a past video, if you don't know one of the songs that one of us chooses, I would encourage at least listening to all three before you vote and not just voting for the song you know. At least give them a chance. I know no one's going to do that. They're just going to pick the song that they know the most. So
Zeppelin rules.
Zeppelin rules. Graham Nash is great. I forgot to play mediator with you guys anymore. I'm supposed to be the antagonist on the show, and I'm just cruising right now.
Joe's just bitter about all the Beatles love.
A little bit.
I only picked them 3 times, so it's not like they were winning every year.
I mean, let him pick what he wants to pick. I don't know. It's competition is secondary. The presentation of our feelings is the most important thing. I think I will have a good mix of deeper cuts and gems. I mean, the hits in this part of the rock and roll era are hits for a reason. So, there are very few big hits like around this time that are just like, how did this? No, I mean, it makes sense. So.
All right. So let us know what you think of our picks. Let us know what your choices are as well down in the comments. If you're new here and don't know what we're talking about when it comes to competition and voting, we have a link down in our description to our website where you can vote for which of our Song of the Year selections you like the most. We're keeping a running tab, score going throughout the whole series. So check that out. Also got playlists of all these songs for you to look into if you're interested. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet. Hit the bell for notifications. We also got in our description Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, which you can follow. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care.